pass. This is early in the game on the first drive. It's just like a little sort of shovel pass. And he looked okay while he was running inbounds. And then once he tried to put on the skids a little bit, it got him. It bit him. And he had to hobble all the way back across the field to the bench. Okay, I'm happy that he got to make the catch. He ended up catching three balls. But why he came back in the game after that, I have no idea.
It should have been a ceremonial like what they did with Dixon.
Yes.
I think that Landon Dixon. The center.
The center.
He had surgery.
One last play. Okay.
He should just come in.
Okay, I got it because, you know, I get it. These kids have invested so much in this, but obviously I don't think they're getting paid. They're getting room, board, and tuition. But for him, he's going to be a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Why are you risking it? And again, you're a kid and you get carried away. You think you're bulletproof. You do,
Skip.
I can come back. I'll be okay.
You do.
But again, he was clearly hampered. It reminded me a little bit of Terrell Owens in the Super Bowl against the Patriots.
But T.O. didn't limp that bad.
He didn't limp that bad. You could tell in the warm-ups that T.O. couldn't run the way he usually runs.
Right, but he did. But that was only like 5 weeks. It was 11 weeks since he had his surgery. Okay. So I could just imagine if T.O. had, but like I said, Skip, T.O. had, hyperbaric chambers. T.O. had had the best of everything.
Right.
And I'm not saying Alabama doesn't have great medical staff, but T.O. was able to get things that I'm sure this kid wasn't able to get.
Okay, so my point was you could just watch him in pregame because they had a lot of shots of him in the pregame, and he just didn't look right to me. Okay, you don't think the Ohio State didn't know that in pregame? So what are they thinking about their coverages? We don't have to really worry about him because he can fly now. He can run by you.
Running like that, he's not running by anybody.
Okay, and just for the record, just so people let this sink in, there's not a Jerry Jeudy this year. There's not a Henry Ruggs this year because last year you had all four of those guys.
Right.
Well, it's a track team.
Right.
It's unbelievable. That's why I kept saying on Tua, are you sure? Are you sure?
Right.
Because it's like, well, I'll try, because he had Najee last year also.
Right.
Well, I can do this, I can do that, I can flip it to Najee. And again, the two best weapons in college football this year were that running back and especially that receiver.
And they're on the same team.
And they're on the same team. Okay, so here's what got me. DeVonta Smith is about 6'1" and weighs 175. But as Ryan Day said after the game, he runs a lot stronger than he looks.
He is.
Because his physique is slender, but he runs with such strength.
And that's why they underestimate him because you look at his wiry frame and you're like, this dude 170 pounds. Oh, I'm finna break him in two.
We can press him. We can jam him. We can knock him off his routes.
No, you can't.
Guess what? You cannot. So they tried everything. They tried deep. They tried to come up short. They tried double. They tried triple. They tried zone. They tried man. They tried everything, and nothing even remotely worked because, as Ryan Day said after the game, we couldn't stop him from separating. He just separates from whatever coverage it is.
Well, Skip, it's kind of hard to rotate coverage because you still got to worry about, like, running back. So if I put 7 men in the box, because you have to – the dude had 30 touchdowns. He was so he was the best running back in football. We got to pay him some attention.
Usually the meat and potatoes defensive coordinator would say, I need to worry about him first.
Right.
With this group, you better worry about that receiver first.
And you see how they were really worried about Najee. They felt like our corners, we're physical enough. We can match up. We got talent on the outside also.
All right.
But you ain't got talent like this kid. This kid was special, and he had a special year.
So Najee ran for 83 yards, so that's not lethal, right? No. Did Najee hurt you catching the ball? Yeah, he caught 7 for 79. That's pretty good. So he hurt you catching it more than running.
Right, they're swinging out of the backfield for a touchdown.
Okay, but did they really have any other weapon that you had to deal with?
No.
It's really, from a receiver perspective, it's DeVonta or bust.
Right.
And you give up 215 in the first half. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
I was like, this dude, I thought Tyreek, I said, this dude literally pulling a Tyreek in the first half.
That's
Tyreek got 203 in the first quarter, but this dude got 12 catches for 215 and 3 touchdowns in a half.
In a half against a defense that is clearly just completely poised to try to stop you.
Like I said, you do this against Missouri. You do this against Arkansas that doesn't have the level of talent.
I'll throw Vanderbilt in there.
Okay, you do that against Vanderbilt, Skip, and everybody's like, oh, that's Vanderbilt. He should have done it. Skip, that's the Ohio State. You know what they represent. The Bosa's, and they have Jeff Okudah. They got Denzel Ward. They loaded on that side of the ball.
Okay, and now back to the quarterback. All year, I have resisted saying this about Mac Jones. because I keep saying product of, because there's too much talent. Well, there's not as much talent as Tua had a year ago, especially at wideout.
No.
And yet, he was Joe Burrow-esque. In fact, I have to say...
He might be more accurate than Joe Burrow.
He went a little, just a little click above Joe Burrow because his QBR was the greatest ever in the history of college football.
Completion percentage.
So if you go down the QBR list, it goes Mac Jones, then it was Kyler, then it was Joe Burrow.
Right.
I can't argue with that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know, Skip, if anybody's going to have a season throwing the ball like this. If you look at, 41 touchdowns, 5 picks, you look at the completion percentage, you look at his QBR, the efficiency in which he threw it. Skip, this is unbelievable. Okay. People don't realize how hard it is to do what he did. And everything is in stride. Guys are not having to break stride and catch the ball and fall down because he threw it behind them. That sprint option. And when DeVonta started and came back, it's in stride. He hit 18. I don't really know his name. He reminds you of
Mechie.
Minchie is 8.
Okay.
He reminds you of Hunter Renfro.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah, the little slot receiver.
Yeah.
But everything is in stride. Give the guy an opportunity to run. Give the guy an opportunity to protect himself. After watching LSU, Skip, we came in. Did Joe Burrow just have the greatest season? I believe Joe had a little better season. It'd have been interesting to see had they played the full. They were 2 games short. So he's not going to get to 60 touchdowns, but 5,000 yards within the realm of possibility.
The reason I ranked Joe a little higher is because LSU, in the history of its program, had never had a quarterback.
Right.
Nothing like that. So he came out of nowhere, obviously transferring from Ohio State. Had a mediocre first year, and then all of a sudden, boom, took off.
I really knew Mac Jones could play when I watched him against Auburn. Although they lost the game because he threw 2 pick sixes, if you watch the way he threw the ball, and then you watch him in the bowl game against Michigan, you say, this dude can play. The question was, were enough players around him coming? Was Najee going to come back? Was DeVonta going to come back?
And I do think this is a key point. Those 2 came back for 1 more year when they didn't have to. Both would have been, I'm pretty sure, first-round picks.
Coach Saban mentioned something last night. He said sometimes guys can come back and increase their value. DeVonta might have been a late first, maybe early second. What he's done now is played himself in possibly to a top 5 pick.
He's a top 5 pick. He will be.
Najee's probably going to go into the first round now. The offensive lineman, Leatherwood, he's going to be a first rounder.
They're going to have 6 first-round picks, which is... That's all you need to know.
And Skip, and I was talking about Skip, I don't know. They don't have the depth at D-line like when they had Payne and Allen and Quincy Williams and Jaron Reed.
They do not.
And Donald Thomas. They don't have. But Barmore, I don't know how Coach Saban must be got a clone or something because he go find them. And if you look at them, Skip, they all built alike.
It's the same.
They're like 6'2", 300 plus, and they're agile.
And they don't look. They don't look the part. No. He didn't look in great shape to me, but he's just unblockable, just slithery, just knifing through, blowing up plays. And now we're back to the offense and back to Mac Jones. Will he be a first round? Yes, he's risen up the board. He's going to be somebody's first round pick. We'll talk more about him versus